Here, you have one of the more standard high challenge level questions you're going to see on the whole SAT. First off, we see that there's an intersection. And for intersections, you're supposed to know that you should get both of your equations in the y equals format and set them equal. So we'll take the 2y equals c and just divide both sides by 2, and we get c over 2. The other one's already in the y equals format, so getting them both in y equals and setting them equal looks like this. And now what? Now we can observe that this is a quadratic situation. A quadratic is generally an equation that has x squared in it. And for a quadratic, you get everything on one side equal to 0. So we can basically simplify. Go ahead and multiply by 2. You'll get c equals negative 4x squared plus 18x. And we can subtract the c to the other side and get 0 equals negative 4x squared plus 18x minus c. Now, one thing we say a lot is you want to get it on one side equal to 0, preferably with the x squared positive. So even though we moved everything to the right and x squared was negative, we can multiply by negative 1, and that fixes everything in a heartbeat. So that's what we have right now. And the question is talking to us about the number of solutions. This is happening at exactly 1 point. So what does that mean for us? That means that we should be looking at the discriminant. The number of solutions for a quadratic is a reference to the discriminant. The discriminant is the part of the quadratic formula that is under the radical. It's this part right here. And whether the discriminant is positive, 0, or negative has an impact on your number of solutions. Now, right now, I'm going to use numbers that have nothing to do with this question just to illustrate what happens. So we could have 2 plus or minus root 4 over 3, 2 plus or minus root 0 over 3, 2 plus or minus root negative 4 over 3. So if the discriminant is positive, the 4, then we have two solutions, because here we would add 2 and take away 2, and we get 2 answers. If the discriminant is 0, we'd have one solution, because the discriminant there is not really a number that does anything. So the answer would be 2/3. There would be one solution. And if the discriminant is negative, negative 4, then you have no solutions, because you can't have a negative under a radical in math. So these 3 rules you should know by heart, or at least be able to write out what I just wrote out to be able to ask yourself what happens when the discriminant is positive, negative, or 0. So now, when they told us that this happened at 1 point, they were saying that there was one solution, which means the discriminant is 0. So b squared minus 4ac is 0, and this is your a, this is your b, this is your c. So negative 18 squared minus 4 times 4 times c equals 0. Negative 18 squared is 324. So let's just write that in as 324 instead. 324 minus 16c is 0. Add 16c to both sides, and we get 324 divided by 16, which is 20.25, and that's our answer.